Today's video is all about systematic investment planning. How you set it up, how it works, what are the advantages, and some bonus tips on things you need to be careful about. All that good stuff right after the intro. Welcome to the State of Finance. My name's Abhishek. Systematic investment planning, also known as S.I.P, is a brilliant investment strategy to build wealth over a given period of time. It is extremely simple, yet astonishingly effective. All this strategy needs you to do is to invest a predetermined sum of money at predetermined intervals, usually every month. Is that it? Surprisingly well. To be honest, that's it. This strategy is best suited for mutual funds. You could apply it to shares and fixed deposits as well. This strategy, though, is not so well suited for real estate, as the amounts involved are usually high. You'll understand what I'm trying to say as we go through the video. And for those who wish to know how mutual funds work, I will leave a card and a link in the description to my video which will give you the basic understanding of mutual funds. Now let's see how S.I.P is set up. So first, you are required to decide upon a fixed sum of money that you wish to invest every month. Say it works out to be $500 in your case. Secondly, you choose the mutual fund you want this sum of $500 to get invested in. You can choose more than one mutual fund, but for keeping this example simple, let's consider one mutual fund for now. You'll get the basic idea. The process goes something like this. You approach the mutual fund company either by visiting their branch office or online. You will be required to fill up a simple form wherein you provide your details like name, address, residential status, specify the funds of your choice you want to invest in, the amount you wish to invest every month, the duration of investment, and so on. The mutual fund company then asks for documents such as your tax number, an ID. Now finally, they will set up the instructions for automatically debiting that fixed amount of $500 every month from your bank account. This will save you the effort of having to manually writing checks or depositing cash every month. You get to specify a date of your choice when you want the money to be debited from your bank account. That is it. You are all set up. This entire procedure, trust me, is not very complicated and is one-time activity. Now let's see how S.I.P works. Let's assume you specify to the mutual fund company to deduct $500 on the 10th of every month for the next 15 years in the mutual fund of your choice. During the first month, the first $500 are deducted from your bank account, and assuming on that day, the NAV per unit of that fund is $10, you get 50 units, which is 500, the amount invested divided by 10. Which is the NAV. Similarly, on the 10th of next month, again $500 get invested. Assuming the NAV per unit on this day goes down to $9, you get 55.5555 units. Similarly, next month, if the NAV goes up to $10.5 per unit, you get 47.6190 units. This procedure goes on and on the 10th of every month for the next 15 years. And when you pull the money out, you simply multiply all the number of units that you have acquired over 15 years with the NAV per unit of the mutual fund as on the date of such redemption. Easy, isn't it? As simple as it sounds, let's look at some big advantages of systematic investment planning. 1. Cost averaging. As you are investing every month at whatever NAV applicable, what you're doing is that you are buying irrespective of the market conditions. In our example, we invested when the NAV was initially $10, We again invested when the NAV per unit was $9 and even when it was $10.5. What it does over a long period of time is that it averages the cost at which you acquire the units. This is called the principle of cost averaging or dollar cost averaging. It is an extremely important advantage over a period of time. Second, no need to time the market. As illustrated in the previous point, you are acquiring units at different NAVs under different market conditions. And since you get the advantage of cost averaging, you do not need to time the market. Most of the people wait for the right time to get into the market, and well, that right time never comes. People need to understand that it actually is the time in the market rather than timing the market, which is of greater relevance in the real world of investing. So every time is the right time to invest in the market because, hey, in the long run, it will average out. So remember, whenever someone talks about timing the market in case of S.I.Ps, just point them towards your clock and tell them that it's always invest or clock. Third, discipline. What better than watching your money getting invested every month and then adjusting your expenses accordingly? S.I.P is like a marathon and not a one-off short duration sprint. You get used to seeing the money getting invested every month and not being available for your consumption. This creates some incredible investor discipline. Investment becomes a part of your lifestyle and not a strange thing to run away from. Fourth, compounding. One of the biggest strengths of S.I.P is that it enables your money to compound insanely over a period of time. The initially invested sum multiplies, then this multiplied sum further multiplies, and this goes on and on. If you choose a decent mutual fund with the growth option, you can take full advantage of the power of compounding. I can go on and on speaking on the power of compounding, but this topic deserves a video of its own. So that's for another day. Fifth, entry with low amounts. Since you are putting aside money every month to invest, you can even start with a small amount. You can keep increasing it as your income goes up. This leaves you with no excuse whatsoever for not investing now. Reminder, invest at least 10% of your net income. 6. Flexibility. S.I.Ps are generally easy to set up in many countries. They are easy to manage as well as terminate. If you are new to mutual funds and not too comfortable with S.I.P, just start with a tiny amount. Later on, you can even step up your monthly investment. Step up simply means increasing the monthly amount when your income goes up or you get more comfortable with the mutual funds. 7th, automation. As discussed earlier, you can enable automation of your monthly investments by setting up a direct debit or one-time mandate or any other arrangement that allows you to transfer money out from your bank account to invest into the mutual fund without you having to write checks or depositing cash every month. You can discuss the options available with your mutual fund company and save yourself the frustration to manually work your investments. 8th, better goal planning. You can plan for your short, medium-term or long-term goals effectively using systematic investment planning. Your goals' time horizon, your age, your risk-taking ability will largely govern what kind of mutual fund you want to invest in. I will discuss the investment options in a separate video. After all those good things, let's take a look at some points you need to be careful about while investing using this technique. 1. Monitor your funds. Monitor your fund's performance to see if they are still beating the benchmark. After setting it up automatically, you might have a false sense of security that everything is working well. Just like any other portfolio, review your choice of funds after some months or years depending upon the nature of your fund. You don't have to buy the best performing mutual fund, because the best performing mutual fund today might not even be in the top 10 a year after. As long as your fund is beating the benchmark and performing well as compared to the other funds in its class, you're fine. Second, do not discontinue your S.I.P when the markets are low. This is a typical mistake investors make when they see the markets going down. They pull their money out at a loss and blacklist the S.I.Ps out of their lives. It is a given characteristic of markets, especially equity, to go through short-term ups and downs. It is never stationary. But in the long run, the returns are usually positive and better than most investment instruments. If you recall the example at the start of the video, you'll see that when the market is down, the NAV per unit goes down. And when you are buying at a lower NAV, the same amount of investment buys you more units. You're basically buying more units, and that too at a discount. It's just like you went shopping and your shopping mall offered you massive discounts. So please be disciplined during such tough times. You will be thankful to yourself after a few years when the market goes up. You will see your cheaply acquired units having a high NAV. By the way, you're welcome. Third, just like every other investment, do not forget or ignore to add a nominee for your investments. It can be your spouse, your parents, kids, whoever you want to be entitled to such investments in case, God forbid, you pass away. Fourth, pay attention to the various costs that are associated with investing. Some of these can be: 1. Entry load. It is the cost which is paid when you invest into the mutual fund. 2. Exit load. It is the cost which is paid when you exit from the fund, that is, when you redeem your money. 3rd can be costs associated with setting up direct debit or one-time mandate for your bank. Also, costs that are attracted in case your bank account has insufficient balance, and so on. Usually these costs are pretty low, but nevertheless, you should be aware of these. Also, when you calculate your return on investment, do not forget to include such costs in your computation. 5th, if you have an irregular income flow, be careful about planning your monthly amount of investments. See what fits your pockets and budgets, and review it more often for obvious reasons. The rule of investing at least 10% of your net income, however, is still very relevant, and there's no escaping that. So that's pretty much it to systematic investment planning. They are indeed wonderful yet simple instruments to help you achieve your investment goals. If you find this video helpful, show your support by sharing and subscribing to the channel. It will be much appreciated. I will see you in the next video. Until then, work smart and invest even smarter. Peace.